Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about the top 4 ways that your pantry is in danger. Some of these you may have heard before, some of them may not, but I definitely want you to be prepared and think ahead as to all the potential dangers that could affect your food supply. The number one thing that most of us have to combat against are rodents. For most of us, that means mice. Well, first and foremost, I don't know many homes that haven't at some point had to deal with a mouse. Now, if you live in a slab concrete home, I get it, maybe not. But for most of us, this could be something that we deal with from time to time. I know here on Farm 812, we deal with this more when they're planting the field and when they're harvesting the field. All those mice are scurrying for a place to go. And over the winter, who doesn't want a warm place to hide out, right? So, when you purchase items from the store, a lot of times the foods that we're going to be keeping on hand long term come in cardboard boxes, plastic bags, or even this style. It's still cardboard, even though it's a thicker material. Mice love cardboard. It is something, they'll eat it, they'll chew it up and take it for nesting. It's one of their favorites. So a lot of your items, pastas, oats, mac and cheese, cereals, you name it, things that we keep on hand, they're going to be a best friend to a mouse. So keep that in mind, as well as any of your seasonings that come in these little paper packets. Those can be a target as well. So the number one way to combat against mice getting into your supply would be to place them in plastic containers. Now, I guess if you've given them a long enough time in your pantry, or you just have a true infestation, eventually they might chew through these as well. But most of us are going to see those signs at the first sign of a mouse and can take measures to prevent any of that. So this is the easiest way to combat against that, and it can be the least expensive. If you've seen my videos before, you know I ask friends and family to hold on to any type of container that will be airtight and I could put in my pantry for long-term storage. I think one of these used to have nuts in it, and I think one of them might have had, it was like a bulk M&Ms. So that, just to give you an idea, don't be afraid to reach out to your friends and family and get these items for free. Throw them in your pantry and you're set. You didn't spend any extra money. Another way that you can combat against mice are the good old-fashioned mouse trap. Now, if you're anything like me, these things can really be intimidating. You struggle to get it set, and once it's finally set, you're afraid to move it to its location because it's going to snap on you, right? Well, I have found these new and improved mice traps, and I'm going to put this in the description for you. They're very inexpensive, and you can buy them in different quantities. You can buy them one a piece. I think the next one is 6 or 9, and then you can go like a dozen or more. And they're very inexpensive. But guys, these are so simple. I'm not intimidated by them at all. This is how easy these are to set. You simply pull back, and that's it. And look, I can move this around a little bit freely and it's not going to snap. But it is so simple. Right here in the center is where you can put some peanut butter, cheese, whatever method you catch mice with. We tend to have the best luck with peanut butter, but you do you. And as soon as that's touched, this will go off. They go off just as easy as those old-fashioned scary ones, but they're so much simpler to set. And like I said, they don't go off at the touch of a hat. Again, I'm gonna link that item in the description below. Go take a look. I promise you, they're inexpensive and I definitely recommend them. Another threat to your long-term pantry storage are mites, moths, and beetles. Believe it or not, when you purchase items from the store, oftentimes here in the US, those are coming from somewhere overseas. That's a long journey and a lot can happen between there and here. It's not uncommon for things like oats and rice and those sorts of things to get to have larvae, something lay eggs within them. The number one thing that you can do to combat against that, when you purchase these items and bring them home, place them in your freezer. They say for 3 to 5 days. I am always cautious, play it on the safe side, and I do the 5 days. I've never had an issue. I'd probably be fine with 3, but like I said, I err on the side of caution, so I go the full 5 days. But again, do your research. Do what you're comfortable with. And then after the 5 days, once they've come out and, quote unquote, thawed and dried out again, then immediately place them into an airtight container and you're all set, you're ready to go. The third thing that is a major threat to your long-term pantry storage is moisture. Depending on where your stockpile is, your pantry, how things are set up, sometimes, and depending on the time of year, our air can get a little more humid than others, especially if there's not great air circulation in your pantry. The number one way that you can combat against that is by purchasing a small dehumidifier. That's going to remove the moisture from the air and keep your items crisp when they should be, solid when they should be, and keep them from clumping together. Remember guys, these items don't have to be pretty. Use what's effective. Use what's most cost efficient. If you need a recommendation for a small dehumidifier, I'm going to put that down in the description as well. Now, there's lots of options out there, and different options can handle the volume of different size rooms. I'm going to assume most of us don't have pantries that are 800 square feet. If you do, you better be showing me a picture because I just might fall in love with it. But for most of us, it's a relatively small area, and a small dehumidifier will do the trick. They make dehumidifiers for rooms of approximately 200 square feet. I would think that might even be kind of pushing it for most of us. So again, I'm going to place one down in the description below, one that I recommend for you. And again, it's very inexpensive. Guys, like I said, you don't have to spend a lot of money. It just needs to be functional and get the job done. And this will be an item that I recommend for you. The fourth threat to your stockpile pantry is expired food. Guys, if you're not keeping your pantry organized, and if you're not eating what you store, then there's always the likelihood that one of your items is going to be pushed to the back, forgotten about, and it's going to expire. We don't want to lose any of our food. That's the whole point, right? Is to stock ahead, keep everything on hand, keep it fresh, keep it good and safe. So I urge you, if you haven't already, organize your pantry. Everybody has their own method and it can look like whatever is the best function for you and your family. But you want to make sure that you're rotating your foods. Whatever you have, each time that you purchase something, place it towards the back of your stock and move the older items towards the front. And again, don't stock a bunch of foods that you know you and your family aren't going to eat. I know there are doomsday preppers and those that want to prep food for 20, 30 plus years. That's not really what my channel is all about. This is about long-term storage, but not necessarily doomsday prepping storage. I'm looking at more of like the 5 to 7 year range here on my channel, and those are the tips and tricks that I'll be presenting to you. So again, just make sure that whatever method you choose, something airtight, something that will help prevent moisture getting in, rodents, mice, all of that from getting in. That's going to do fine, again, for 5 to 7 year storage. That's what you'll find here at Farm 812. So again, rotate those foods, check your stock often, make sure that you're using what you've stocked. And if you find that there are items that your family can't use anymore or simply doesn't use anymore, look at trading with someone else who has a large pantry that might need those items, and you can barter with them. Do a little trade-off. I hope you guys have found this video helpful. Let me know, what sort of issues have you run into with storing your food long-term? Have you ever lost food to expiration dates, moisture, or rodents? Drop me a comment below and let's talk about it. Let's keep each other informed of all the dangers that are out there. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. It is absolutely free for you and it helps me. Plus, that way you'll never miss a video that I put out and you'll always be on top with the tips and tricks that we have to show you. Thanks for coming back, guys. I can't explain to you how much fun this is, sharing my knowledge with you. Drop me a comment, and until the next time, I'll be praying for you.